Welcome to the Real Estate Masters Podcast, where we interview the top names in the real estate game. If you want to grow your real estate business, see more podcasts, or get free resources, go to www.remcommunity.com. The only podcast that allows you to directly connect with the guests and many of the highest level names in the real estate game.
You are in for a treat with our next guest. Do me a favor, subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review, and don't forget to go to remcommunity.com to connect with some of the highest level real estate professionals in the United States through our community and through our high level masterminds. Let's go.
All right, welcome everybody to today's show. I've got Drew Farnese with me. My name's Tony Javier, your host as usual. We're here to talk about an untapped marketing channel that most people don't know about that Drew's been doing for about 6 weeks now that's absolutely crushing it. So I wanted him to get on here and talk about what he's doing in his market. Drew, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, Tony, man. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. And just before we get started, I want to say, shout out to my buddy Gabe Da Silva that hooked me up with you, got me connected and told me about what it is that you're doing and how you've had experience and traction with this TV program. So shout out to Gabe. Thanks for that. So yeah, we got connected, we got going fast, man. We just started talking, 8 weeks ago?
Probably about 3 months ago. Yeah.
Was it? Okay. Yeah. I know that as soon as we started talking, I was like, cool, let's just get going. Let's get rolling. Let's get set up and let's get it turned on. So yeah, in the Philadelphia region, I've been doing wholesale for about 3 years now. Spent about the last 8 years in real estate doing fix and flips. Transitioned into primarily wholesale 3 years ago. Still do flips, still buy rentals and everything. Mm-hmm. And have been aggressively scaling the wholesale company for the past, year. And we do a lot of direct mail. We don't really do too much text messaging or these other low entry barrier things where there's already a lot of people, Mm-hmm. So when I heard about the TV program, I'm like, that's probably right up our alley, So we got that started and that's been awesome. It's been a great lead source for us. Most of the stuff that we do, it's a lower quality, higher volume lead. So for our sales team specifically, it's this is like a breath of fresh air. It's a high quality, lower volume lead. I guess I shouldn't even say low volume. I guess in reality, looking at our numbers that we just went over, Tony, right? 200 leads in 6 weeks isn't really low volume to a lot of people. So, looking forward to jumping into some of those stats here with you, man.
Yeah. Actually, you could be right. It might've been 2.5 months ago. Cause you're one of those guys. When we talk to people about TV, we're like, it takes about 30 to 45 days to get you on the air. But some people are like, no, I want on tomorrow. Right.
Yeah.
So I think you were probably one of the guys that got on in about 2 to 3 weeks. So you could be right in that 2 month time frame or so. But so you kind of dove into the numbers already. We launched you on TV 6 weeks ago. You're spending $15,000 a month right now, which is on the high end. You're in a big market. So when we look at markets, some markets are, have, a few 100,000 people, 500,000 people, but your market, you're hitting, I can't remember what the number is, 6 million, I think, 8 million. It's a huge market. So to spend $15K is on the very high side of what we typically have our clients spend. And so let's talk about the lead volume. You just gave me the stats, which I was, not blown away by because you gave me your 30-day stats, but 6 weeks in, you're spending $15K a month, right? So 22.5 ad spend. You got over 200 leads, right? Which, like you said, is high volume. But when you look at how many you got under contract compared to how many leads came in, that's, pretty standard. 1 out of, 20? Because you got, actually, I take that back. It's a little bit more. You got about 16 under contract. I know you said you may have a few of those fall through, which happens in this business. But most likely around, 8, 9, 10, 11 of those will go through. And right now you already have 96,000 of profits assigned from those deals waiting to close, and another 50,000 you're projecting from the other deal. So that's $146,000 on a $22,000 ad spend. So tell me what it's like compared to your other lead sources. As far as you kind of touched on, the quality of lead is typically higher. The conversations are easier, but from a standpoint of kind of how that compares management wise to your other marketing, as well as, just anything you want to talk about and, maybe returns comparison to what else you're doing.
Yeah, sure. So it's like in comparison to most of the other marketing and lead gen strategies that we're doing right now, it's totally like night and day difference. And like we were touching on a little bit, yes, out of the 16 deals that we brought in from this campaign so far, we have 5 that have already fallen out. It's like, since it is a high ad spend and everything, we're kind of adapting our sales process to it. We haven't even figured it out yet, right? It's like right now we're just kind of going at everything, trying to throw some things at the wall and shake out everything that we can from it. Like it's not a different sales process, but it's slight little things that have shifted. So we're like a one-call close shop. A lead comes in typically, we get a verbal contract over the phone, and within 5 minutes we send a DocuSign. Sometimes we're still on the phone. We get the contract back before we ever even go out to the property, right? So that's a normal lead, a normal sales process for us. With a lot of the TV leads, I guess with the demographic that we're hitting, it makes sense. It's a lot of elderly people that just aren't tech savvy. So they're like, DocuSign, I don't even have an email. What the hell are you talking about? Like I have a fax machine. So it's changing our sales process slightly. I know that sounds like complainy to say, like, oh man, we got to go out on an appointment to get a contract, because we'll totally do it. We'll do whatever we have to. But it is slightly changing our sales process, and we're adapting to that, right? So 6 weeks in, we're just trying to get all the kinks worked out, But absolutely, the quality of lead is significantly higher than anything else that we're doing. So the conversations are easier because we're not qualifying these people as much, right? Like they've already qualified themselves. They've already funneled themselves. So yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah, cool. I know most people are happy with 3 times on their money as a minimum, and then 5 times is doing really well. But right now you're doing about 7 times, which is great. So tell us, I guess what you see with your process. So actually one nugget that you said that I got from our mastermind you were at a few weeks ago with a lot of our TV clients there is a lot of people are locking up the deals over the phone, right? So I've been in this business 20 years now, and my team typically gives a price range over the phone, and we don't get the contract till we go out and actually look at the property. So it's interesting, guys like you that are doing high volume, how you guys are getting the deals under contract before you even go out, which is very smart. Because if you're getting 200 some leads in, you want to filter out the people that aren't serious. And it's like, hey, if you're serious, here's what we feel like we can pay, sign the contract, we'll come look at it and verify, condition and all that, and then move forward and go from there. So that's a really good thing that we can share with everybody else. Anything else you can talk about TV? Tell us about the process of just getting it set up. Like, how much time did it take you? How was it working with, our media buyer, all that kind of stuff? Any kind of insight you can give there?
Yeah. So definitely worth talking about, right? I know that, for me personally, it's like, hey, it was a scary thing, right? Like we're talking about $15,000 a month ad spend plus the cost to get everything set up, and record the commercial and everything. It's a big commitment to make, especially for something that is so different and that I don't really know a whole lot about, So I remember when we first spoke, my number one question is, because I knew you had a track record. I knew that you were recommended to me by like a high level heavy hitter guy. Like I had no questions about the legitimacy of your program, who you are and what you do. My only question, I think, was how much time is this really going to take? Like, what's this going to add to my plate? Like I'm already at capacity right now, man. Like I feel like I've been at Redline for a while, and I operate pretty well there. So I just knew that I couldn't add an extra 5 or 10 hours worth of workload to my week, because this probably wouldn't be something that I could delegate, And when we talked about it, and you're like, man, look, honestly, You're going to have to go through the videos that are going to show you how to prep for your commercial. May take a half hour. And then you're going to have to go to a studio that we're going to set up. We're going to schedule for you. We're going to have everything prepared. And that may take an hour of your time. Like, all right, so I can, reasonably say that I'm going to spend 2 hours of my time to get this campaign rolling and off the ground and some money. I love it. I'm in.
Yeah. So 2 hours, pretty good return on time, right? Because, doing the media buying, I think, is the biggest thing. Like when people talk about getting on TV and negotiating rates with stations, not only is it hard to get a hold of a rep that you trust and will give you, shoot you straight, but they're going to want to say expensive stuff. They're going to want to go around with you. And having someone, it's kind of like having a buyer's agent on your side. If you've never bought a house before, chances are a good buyer's agent is a good investment. And actually, you're not even paying the buyer's agent because they're getting paid by the seller, whereas, media buyers getting paid by the station, right? So to have someone to be able to negotiate the right rates for you, kind of know, it's kind of like, pulling comps, right? Like, you don't want to pay $180,000 for a $150,000 house. So you want an agent to be able to tell you what it's worth. Media buyer does the same thing. It's like, hey, we know what the rates are, what they should be. We're going to negotiate the best price and get you the best deal, kind of thing. So I'm glad you're happy. And his name was Drew. Isn't it? His name is Drew also. So,
yeah,
I
liked him from the jump.
Right. So cool. So anything else that you can share about the TV program? I mean, it sounds like, you're already doing pretty good volume of business, but this is obviously just going to add to what you're doing. I don't know if you've seen this feedback already. Has anybody commented on your direct mail about, maybe calling you and say, I haven't seen your commercial or anything like that? Because that's something that sometimes takes a little bit of time, but sometimes right off the bat, people are like, hey, I saw your commercial. I've had your direct mail piece for a few weeks now, but I saw your commercial and decided to call you. Right.
No, I haven't had any of that yet, but like the direct mail that we do, it's there's not really branding involved in it. So mail pieces in the future, yes, we're going to start integrating that into it, because I think just having that piece and being able to say, as seen on TV, it just kind of adds that layer of credibility and everything to what you do. And that's worth noting too, like with the leads that we're bringing in from the TV commercials, it's like that authority is already there. Sometimes these sellers are saying to our sales team, like, yeah, well, we spoke with other people, but they kind of seemed like a fly by night, like operation, like they didn't really have a company. They didn't have an office. And I know you guys are on TV and you have a physical office that's only like down the street or whatever. It really adds that layer of legitimacy to who you are, what you do, and helps establish that rapport with the person. They feel like they already know us,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you been recognized in your area already around town?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I get texts all the time, a couple times a week from people saying, hey, I saw your commercial. Is this you? What are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what about when you're rocking around town? People are like, are you the TV guy? Are you the real estate guy?
I haven't had that yet.
Really? Wow.
Not yet.
Yeah, okay. Well, cool. Well, I appreciate your time, Drew. This is something that, a lot of people are having similar success to you, where they're getting, pretty quick returns within a short amount of time. So I appreciate you sharing your story, taking time out of your day. I know you're doing a lot of deals over there. So anything else you want to share? Anything else you want to give to the audience before we jump off?
Yeah, no, I would just say if anybody's on the fence about like jumping on and doing this program with you, it's like, yeah, it's going to be scary. It's going to be probably a big monetary investment, not a huge time investment, like I said, which was the biggest for me. I would say as long as you have a good sales process in place and a way to convert those leads, jump in, just do it. It's going to work.
Yeah. That's probably the biggest complaint we have is like, I just can't handle all the leads, once we turn on the faucet. So some people don't have a really good process and they're forced to get a good process. But now that I've seen the volume of leads coming in, I'm trying to work more with clients on getting their sales process a little more together, with getting an answering service if they need to, and, potentially getting a lead manager and, things of that nature. But yeah, no, I appreciate your time and I appreciate your leap of faith, because I know we were connected by someone that we both know, and that, helped with trust factor. But anytime someone, trusts their time and their money with me, I really take it seriously and want to deliver. So I hope you're happy, and, look forward to many years of bringing you leads and hopefully changing your business a little bit for you.
Sure, man. I appreciate you, brother.
All right. Have a good one, man.
You too.
Thanks for listening. Now go to www.remcommunity.com to connect with today's guest, see our high-level masterminds, and to get free resources. Don't forget to share this with a friend and leave us a 5-star review. We'll see you on the next episode.